Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another Chap Mei set to take a look at, another Dino Valley set, and this one is one that honestly I have wanted for so long. I can't even describe to you guys because I have been eyeing up this Spinosaurus on like eBay and stuff for years, and it seems like it's just that one figure that I've kind of been pursuing but never been able to actually get a hold of until now when I finally have the newest version of the Spinosaurus. As you can see, this is the Spinosaurus Track and Salvage mission, and we've got quite a bit going on, as we always do when it comes to these sets. You've got a Spinosaurus, you obviously have a vehicle, there are two smaller dinos, including actually a Spinosaurus, a smaller version of the Spino. We have a human figure, looks like maybe a glider of some kind that would go on the back maybe of the human figure, also like a net, and then there are the baby dinosaurs that you often find in Chap Mei sets. I believe that's everything at least that I can see so far, you know, sitting here. And the box art is pretty much your standard when it comes to the Dino Valley line. You can see the Dino Valley logo over here. As you can see with my hands in here, it's a pretty darn big set. You also have this image, which at this point I would say is almost classic Chap Mei. And then if we turn everything around here carefully without destroying anything, on the back of the box, we have this super cool image over here showing off quite a few different dinosaurs, including actually Velociraptor Blue, which is, even though it's not colored the same, but I believe that is the same sort of image that I've seen of Velociraptor Blue before. Same deal with the T-Rex, actually. But then up here, you also have a shot, again, of the set, basically, you know, taken out of the box, and there's a light kind of glaring on it, so it's making it hard to see. We'll just move that somewhere else. And you can now see basically what's going on up there with the, you know, massive Spinosaurus and everything else that is included in this set. So, as always, let's go ahead and pop the box open and check out everything contained within. So here is everything that was included in the set now out before us here, and as you can see, everything looks pretty cool, especially that Spinosaurus. I really like the Spinosaurus, but one thing you can also tell is we have quite a bit to get through in this set, so we're just going to go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at all of this right now. Now, of course, the thing I want to take a look at first would be the Spinosaurus, and you can undoubtedly see there is a strong resemblance here with this Spinosaurus and the Jurassic Park 3 version. It's very clear to me that that was the inspiration for the Spinosaurus, and I'm totally okay with that because personally I am a massive fan of the Jurassic Park 3 Spino, so I always love different takes on that dinosaur. But you can see when it comes to the scale, detail, and skin texture, it almost looks like your trademark sort of Chap Mei style texturing, and that's definitely not a bad thing. You can see quite a bit of variation to the skin texture. You can see kind of like larger areas of sort of scaling up here, but then as you get back, you get much finer scaling and stuff like that. You have quite a bit of coloration here to the face as well, as you have this nice variation of brown, but then you've got a very nice dark, it's actually, it looks like a dark brown, almost looks like a dark gray in certain lights, but it's like a dark brownish gray. And then you've also got some red that kind of leads through here and spots and stuff. You can even see it come here under the eye. The eye itself is a green, just like the Jurassic Park 3 Spino, but you have a dark tone there for the pupil, which is the same dark sort of like brownish gray tone we have up here. I personally would have preferred a black pupil, but it still doesn't look bad because it's a dark tone. You can see the teeth are all sculpted pretty decently. They're painted sort of okay. There's a little sloppiness you can see kind of as you get closer to the jawline. The paint isn't perfectly applied, but it's not terrible. You do have an articulated jaw, which technically can go really wide, but once you get to that certain point right there, like I think that's probably the most natural spot to hold the mouth open, because once you get too far there, as you can see, there's a little separation right here. So that's probably the better spot to sort of articulate the jaw. On the inside of the mouth, you can see, if my camera would focus on it, you can see some detailing there on the inside, on the upper side, as well as, not really anything that I can see down there, because the teeth are actually kind of close together, sort of obscuring the inside of the mouth down there, so I can't really see what's going on. There is like a big sort of plastic area back here in the throat that sort of gives us the skin on the side of the mouth there. It looks definitely really quite nice from the side. Not so great from the front, but at the same time it almost gives it the look of having a throat, so I guess it's not too terrible. The jaw only closes to about that point, so it doesn't go all the way closed. But man, that is a really nice looking JP style Spino head sculpt. As you move back here a little bit further, you start to see that sort of scoot-like armored kind of a look here on the back of the Spinosaurus's neck, and that also again is kind of reminiscent to the Jurassic Park 3 version. You also see that reddish tone kind of followed down in a line here of those sort of osteoderms or scoots, and you can also see that that brownish tone leads down here along the side of the neck and kind of designs down a little bit. You've also got a little bit of saggy skin here in the throat region of the Spinosaurus. As you move down a little bit further, you can kind of make out the shoulder blade as well as some muscle definition moving down here into the arm. This arm is actually really long. I don't know how long the other one is. We'll have to wait until we get over there, but you can see that arm definitely sports a pretty decent length. You've also got some nice scoots running down the fingers of the Spinosaurus, and the nails are nicely sculpted but not painted. We do have articulation in the arm. You can put that arm up all the way. That's about as far up as it goes. And that's actually as far down as it goes. It doesn't go back any further than that. As you move back here into the stomach region of the Spinosaurus, you can see some more pretty decent looking skin detail. And another area that we often see on more modern day Chap Mei figures would be this little area here where it's kind of like an injury, and then you press it for some sounds, and you can see that they have painted that out with sort of like a pinkish tone. Also has a bit of a satin shine to kind of give it that, you know, injury sort of shiny, almost like bloody kind of a look. Leading up here into the top of the Spinosaurus, you can see again we've got some more of those like osteoderms and stuff painted out with a reddish tone just sporadically as you move through, and you can also see more of that brownish tone continuing to follow along. And then as you lead up into the sail first of all has a translucent look to it, which is really cool. Kind of sports like reds and oranges in that translucent look, and you also have some of the browns that just pattern through. Actually, it looks more like a dark gray than a brown. That sort of like spots and patterns through as you move through the rest of the sail, and if you let the light hit it as you turn it, you can see the actual fine detail of the sail looks really nice. So I have a feeling that once we press the button, this is probably going to light up, but I think it looks really neat even just like standing here, you know, looking like that. It looks really cool. As you move down through the course of the leg, you can see some large osteoderms and stuff up here. Nice muscle definition, as well as, again, very vibrant skin texture moving down. You've got the knee, you've got a calf muscle, and then you move down into the foot, and you can see some detail within the claws. You can also see some scoots moving down the front of the foot. No alternate color variation moving down. No real, you know, color at all actually added to the foot. You don't see painted nails or anything like that. You can see a screw over there on the other side, but that's just, again, the way the figure is assembled, and that's also very, very common when it comes to the Chap Mei brand. And you, of course, also have articulation, and that's about as far back as this leg goes. And that's really about it, actually. It only has about that much mobility, so not a whole lot when it comes to the articulation of the leg on this side. And then as you move up here, you can see that that darker tone actually leaves us here as we lead out into the tail. The tail is just one solid tone, again, which is the primary body color of brown. You can see the ridges continue out, though. You've got the scoots running out here, and you also have a very, very strong curve to that tail as you lead out. There is also a little articulation in the tail as you can kind of swivel it. So you've got that going for it as well. And then as you turn the Spinosaurus around to the other side, you can see it looks pretty similar. It's got a slight turn to the head here, turning to its right a little bit, but you're not going to see a whole lot of difference over here. We do, of course, have screw holes, which again is something that is also very common with the Chap Mei brand. As you lead down, again, everything looks pretty close to the same. You can see the arm is also extended. It's in a little bit of a different position over here, though, compared to what we see on the initial side. As far as the arm articulation over here, that's about as far back as it goes, and that's about as far forward as it goes. As you move back here into the body, you can see that this leg is taking a step forward pretty far compared to what we see on the opposing side, so a little bit different as far as that goes. And we do again have articulation on this side. The leg actually moves back pretty far on this side. You can see go back pretty far, and then again back to where it was basically. And then we lead out, we can see that the tail again curves toward us on this side, and then again that absolutely awesome looking sail right there. So the Spino is definitely really cool. We've also got these guys, but man, we've had these in so many sets so far from Chap Mei, so you guys are probably very familiar with these baby dinosaurs at this point. I don't think we need to really go over these again because we've now had them included in numerous sets that I've reviewed here on the channel. And the same can actually be said about these, because these as well have been included in previous sets. And one thing about the Spino here that's actually pretty interesting is it's pretty much the same figure that we have in the larger version, but obviously in a much smaller, sort of shrunken down version. The only difference is the tail kind of comes out and then ends where it should kind of curve around, which is what we see on the larger version, but everything else appears to pretty much be the same. You know, of course, outside of the coloration is obviously a little bit different. And then the same thing here for the Carnotaurus. It's a figure we've had in the past, but Chap Mei also sells a Carnotaurus that looks very much so just like this, but obviously sports a little articulation, sounds, and all that fun stuff. But again, it is a really cool figure. Both of these I think are really neat. They also sport some very vibrant detail, but it's stuff that we've already gone over in previous Chap Mei reviews. So if you want to see more detailed looks at this kind of stuff, check out the playlist here on the channel with all sorts of other Chap Mei reviews that would include them. Then we've also got ourselves the human figure, who looks like he probably just came from the Backstreet Boys, but you can see he definitely is nicely sculpted, as Chap Mei usually has really good human figures, I think. You've got some nice detailing in the face, some nice paintwork in the face. He's got a hat on. You can see his hair is sculpted out and painted. As you move down, he's got some tattoos here, some actually really quite cool looking tattoos. He's also got kind of like a little scarf thing going on here. He's got sunglasses on his shirt, and I love that Chap Mei will take the time to actually paint out some of the little accessories on the outfits of their human figures. That really shows, again, the dedication they do have to their product. Same deal with the tattoo over here. They just give you more than most companies do when it comes to their human figures. As you move down, you can see all sorts of creases and wrinkles and stuff. See little areas of paintwork added here, just to like the smallest little additions to sort of, like right here, even the rope here in the area that kind of straps around. Like little things like that I really like about these Chap Mei human figures. So he is really quite nicely sculpted and nicely painted. He also sports some articulation, which you can move the head around, and you can also move the arm up and then the arm down all the way around, and he actually has elbow articulation, so you've got double the articulation in the arms. And then as you move down, you also have articulation in the hips as well as the knees, so you can very nicely articulate both legs, again, in both the hip and knee area. So definitely another nice human figure as well. Then you've also got the glider that goes on the back of our human figure, and you can see this is really cool because you have the, let's move it this way, the Dino Valley logo here on the wings of the glider. The glider itself is a really nice greenish tone. You've also got this kind of net that is painted with a yellow, and then you have the logos painted with a black, and the entire thing sports a very nice, very highly detailed appearance to it as well, because that's always what you get when it comes to these very cool Dino Valley sets. And the final piece here is actually a piece that we've had before as well. We've got a vehicle here, and I do remember this actually recently in a different Chap Mei set that I had reviewed. So it is always fun if you are creating your own Dino Valley to have a few of the vehicles. So if you do happen to have, this already and you see this set, it's not a bad thing to pick it up twice, again, to have the vehicle here and have a few in your collection. You can see we've got the Dino Valley logo on it again, Dino Valley logo over here on the side. You've got really nice articulation in the wheels. That's very smooth. We can also see the steering wheel on the inside. I don't know if that moves. Yep, absolutely. So the steering wheel does move. And you've got the seats and everything. But again, this is also another vehicle that we have already reviewed here on the channel, so I don't feel like we need to take a huge closer look at it, but it is still a really nice addition yet again to this awesome Spinosaurus set. As far as the glider goes, you can see a little hole on the back of our human. There's also a little peg right here, so I would imagine we just have to kind of match that up. And then once you have him assembled, you can then take the net and shoot it. Whoop, I dropped him. Shoot it into the face of the Spinosaurus, or whatever you want to shoot it into here. You can see it doesn't have much of a, like a launching mechanism. It doesn't go too far. Nah, not too far, but if you're close range, I guess you could probably snag yourself a dinosaur. Regardless, it does look really cool to, again, have our human figure here with the glider on his back. And then also, I do want to just show you how smooth the vehicle is as far as the movement goes. Very, very nice, very smooth as usual. And the final thing would be the Spinosaurus and the action feature. So actually, let's move the camera up a little bit so we can kind of get a better view of this. And maybe we should dim the lights just a tad, because I feel like the sail's probably going to light up. It just has that look to it. So I'll give you a little bit of a better angle. And that, again, that is such a classic Chap Mei roar. They have been using that roar for so long, and every time I hear it, it just screams Chap Mei so much. But you can see, again, that the sail does light up. That's something that, you know, as an adult collector, it's probably not the most appealing thing in the world, because I don't think that the sail of Spinosaurus would probably light up. But who knows? I've never seen one, I guess. Regardless, it is something that kids would definitely enjoy. Most of these things, I don't think we really need to measure or anything. I think the only thing we really need to measure from this set, which is very different from other sets, would be the fact that we have the large Spinosaurus. So let's go ahead and get a measurement on the Spino. It is pretty big. For a length from the tail to the snout, about 15.5 inches, or right around 39.5 centimeters. And then the highest point would be the sail, about 9.25 inches at the highest point, or around 23.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, as well as Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line, and the little Collect A human being, who I don't think is going to be much help in this situation, but next to the Chap Mei Spinosaurus set. And you can see basically the size difference between the Chap Mei human and the Collect A human, as well as the Mattel human. Obviously, the Collect A human is no comparison whatsoever. The Mattel version's very close, but the Chap Mei is definitely a little bit taller. However, you can also very clearly see that the Spinosaurus is massive in comparison to every other figure here next to it. Now, we're going to actually take these guys out of here for a moment, because at this point we're just going to focus basically on the Spinosaurus. And you can see that the Spinosaurus is now standing here with a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus, which you can see again is very much so a lot smaller than the Spinosaurus. And unfortunately, I don't have a Mattel Spinosaurus handy to display next to the Chap Mei version, because I kind of feel like that is a comparison that a lot of people would probably want. But I do have the Mattel Extreme Damage T-Rex to put next to it, and you can obviously see that these two are pretty much right there in the same similar size range. Psych! I just couldn't help myself. I had to go back, even though this is actually after I had already filmed that review. In fact, I filmed that review about a week ago, and I just finally got to editing it, and as I was editing it, I just couldn't help but feel terrible that I didn't have the Mattel Spinosaurus to compare with it. So I went ahead, searched one of them out in my, collection area that, again, it's currently, a lot of it's in storage because I'm rearranging things. So I went and searched one out just so I could bring it in and compare with the Chap Mei version, because I really did want to show the, visual of these two together. And you can obviously see the Mattel version is a little bit bigger as far as like body mass, but honestly not by much. They are kind of similar in size overall. So hopefully you guys appreciate this comparison, because it was actually quite the nightmare to get the Mattel Spino out to compare with this, but I just really did not want to finish the video without that review comparison, because I really thought you guys would probably want to see it. So this Chap Mei Spinosaurus track and salvage set is definitely, again, a really cool set. If you are into the Chap Mei figures like I am, then I really think you'll like this one, because first of all, it's the massive Spinosaurus. This figure is not an easy one to track down, and I'm really happy that I finally have, or at least it wasn't previously, because I think it might have just been a standalone release for a while, and I didn't really see it much here. I actually didn't see it at all in the United States, but it's very exciting to now see again it showing up and making an appearance in the United States, and undoubtedly a figure worth grabbing, that is for sure, if you ask me. Again, I'm a huge fan of Chap Mei. I always have been. I've loved their figures since way back in the day when Toys R Us was carrying them, and my son was so heavily into the Chap Mei brand at one time. And since I had seen this Spinosaurus, I've just been really wanting to get a hold of it, because it's probably one of the coolest looking versions of like a Jurassic Park 3 inspired Spinosaurus that I've seen. And in person, it really is just as nice as I expected it to be. It's got a really nice sculpt, really nice fine detail throughout. Definitely looks like the Jurassic Park 3 Spino, but with a Chap Mei feel, a Chap Mei style, which is always a good thing. And on top of that, you've also got a light up feature in the sail, which may appeal to some, may not for others. You've also got articulation, which is pretty fun. Within the set, we've also got a human figure, and the human figure is very nicely done. He sports a really nice, highly detailed look, nice paint apps, and nice articulation. I love the fact that he has that glider, and the fact that it attaches really nicely to him. And on top of that, you can kind of shoot out that net to capture dinosaurs, especially the smaller ones. I think that would work pretty well for those. And speaking of the smaller dinos, even though they're definitely not the highest quality thing in the world, they're basically just a fun little accessory for this set, and I do really quite like them. On top of being pretty fun, I think they'd be neat ones to repaint at some point, and since I now have extras of those, I may do that. You also have those little babies that kind of hatch from an egg, which is pretty fun again, but those are an extra that we've had so many times in previous Chap Mei sets, so we have gone over those a ton of times already. They are still pretty fun though. And then you also have the vehicle that you can put your human figure in. Again, he can either go up on the glider or of course in the vehicle, and the vehicle is also nicely done, but it's also a thing that we've had in the past, another, piece of this set that we've had in a different set previously. But of course, the star of the show for me is the Spinosaurus, and I am beyond excited to now have this. If you are interested in grabbing yourself some Chap Mei products, make sure you check your local Dollar General, your local Family Dollar, or Big Lots, because those are the three different places that you will most often find Chap Mei sets kind of scattered. Like, you will see the same set sort of at all those different stores. So, it can be at any one of those stores that you may randomly find some incredibly cool Chap Mei sets. And make sure you pick up this Spinosaurus set if you can come across it, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.